He was born where dreams go to die, resolute, but he turned scrap into flight and failure into fuel. Vikram Yadav was born in a dusty village in Rajasthan, where the sun scorched the earth and opportunity came rarely, if ever. Yet from the moment he could walk, his eyes weren't on the ground but on the sky. His father sold tea by the highway and his mother worked in the fields, and their entire family of 5 lived in a mud house with a tin roof that clanged every time the desert wind howled. But despite the poverty, despite the hunger, despite the cracked feet and empty pockets, Vikram was curious, always asking how things worked, why the fan spun, how the radio talked. And when a trucker once left behind a broken transistor, Vikram opened it up like treasure, poking the wires with a safety pin until it sparked. Amazed not by the shock, but by the fact that even something broken could still respond. His school had no roof and no blackboard, just a chalkstone and a wall. But he listened like it was IIT, scribbled notes on old newspapers, and read the same torn science textbook 5 years in a row, memorizing every word not to pass exams, but because each sentence was a window out of the village. And when a traveling NGO once showed a video of a drone on a donated laptop, Vikram stared like a pilgrim seeing God, because in that spinning propeller, he saw a future not chained by geography. He was 13 when he made his first flying machine out of bamboo, a toy motor and rubber bands. It didn't lift more than a foot, but it proved to him that dreams aren't about working the first time. They're about not quitting until they do. By age 15, he was fixing radios for cash, helping the village mechanic with fan motors, saving every rupee he could, skipping meals, buying secondhand batteries, scouring the junkyard for anything that looked like it could fly. And when the villagers mocked him, called him Pagal engineer, he just smiled, because every genius sounds mad until they succeed. When he said he wanted to go to IIT, even his father scoffed, saying they didn't even have money for bus fare, let alone coaching. But Vikram downloaded free PDFs, studied under a streetlight for 3 years, failed the entrance exam twice, cried only once, then went back harder, memorizing concepts, solving questions on the backs of torn wrappers, timing himself with a broken watch whose second hand still worked. And finally, on his 3rd attempt, he cracked it. AIR 1132, with nothing but resolve and a mind trained by grit. Stepping into IIT Bombay was like landing on another planet. Kids spoke fluent English, coded in 3 languages, had iPads, drones, and startup dreams from day one. While Vikram didn't even know how to order in the canteen, but he didn't let it break him. He watched YouTube videos till 3 a.m. to learn C++, joined the robotics club, even though he understood half the terms, volunteered to do grunt work just to be around innovation. Thoughtful. And slowly, through sheer persistence, he built his own low-cost drone. Then another, then modified it to fly longer, added a camera, programmed it to drop payloads. And when floods hit Bihar in 2022, and aid couldn't reach the submerged villages, he remembered his own village days and knew he had to act. Determined, taking leave from IIT, he and 2 friends drove to the nearest base camp, proposed using his drones to drop medicines and ration packets. Disappointed, were laughed out of the room, hopeful. But one NGO gave him a shot, and what followed was magic. His homegrown drones flew over waterlogged terrain, located stranded families, and delivered life-saving supplies where even boats couldn't reach. Proud, in 10 days, over 1,200 lives were impacted directly. And suddenly, Vikram wasn't the poor kid from Rajasthan. He was the drone boy of Bihar, featured on news channels, offered funding by CSR programs. Reflective, but he didn't take the first big city job offer that came his way. Instead, he went home, founded Skyroot Rural with a small grant, and began developing drones for agriculture, spraying pesticides for small farmers, monitoring crop health, reducing labor, increasing yields, and also opened a tech lab in his old school where students learned Arduino and Python, where once they had only chalk and dust. Accomplished by 2024, his drones were deployed in 7 states. He had trained 300 rural youth in drone technology, created 70 jobs, and won innovation awards from both government and private organizations. Heartfelt, but for him, the true reward was simpler, seeing his mother press a button and operate a drone to scare away birds from crops. or watching his sister teach local girls to build circuits on breadboards, or walking past the same tea stall where he used to serve customers as a boy, now renamed Drone Chai Center by his proud father. Inspirational, Vikram often says he's not successful because he was smart. He just refused to stop when life told him he couldn't start. And today, with over 50,000 people directly impacted by his work, with Skyroot Rural aiming to expand across South Asia, and with the World Bank inviting him to speak on rural tech innovation, he's still the same boy with cracked heels and wide eyes, chasing problems with a screwdriver in one hand and a mission in the other, proving to every kid in every forgotten village that genius isn't born in cities. It's built in silence, in sweat, in failure, and in the relentless refusal to accept the limits the world gives you. He didn't wait for the sky to open up. He built wings from junk, took off, and never came back down.